just got here. How many of us want to be back? We were just talking. Wouldn't it be better if we just didn't have spring break and Easter break and split school 3 weeks earlier and have 3 weeks longer summer? It makes so much more sense. We do the same thing with Thanksgiving, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of it. It makes so much sense. But we don't. I've argued for combining spring break and Easter since the first semester I was here. So this is nuts. Why did you do 2 spring breaks? What's that for? Because Catholic kids are so much smarter, they don't need to go to school, right? But only about 30 are Catholics, so the rest of you can't. Okay, anyway, you want to do this? Do you have it with you? If not, I'll read it to you. Okay. Using the present value tables in your text, it says, or I don't care, you can use your calculator. Okay? So pull your calculator out, whatever you're going to use, get to the tables, okay? Find the tables in the book. What page is that on? What is it? Oh, it's at the end of this, in my intermediate book, it's on a page. So A1, it's at the end, right? Okay, way at the end, okay, the first appendix. A1, okay, so we're going to take a look at those, right? Let's calculate some of these things. A says, what if a company puts $20,000 in a savings account on January 1st, 2009? So here we are. We've got 20,000. Sure we do. We've got 20,000. That worked. Okay. 20,000. And it's January 1st, 09, right? 2009. Okay, in this case. What would you say that thing is? They have that much. And they want to know what's going to happen. It's going to accumulate interest each December 31st. And then we want to know what's going to happen 13 and stuff. What do you think? What would you call that thing? That 20,000 is a what? It's a present value. You've got to know that. This thing is a present value at time 0. If you know that, you can start working the problem. If you don't, it's over. Okay? How much do I have at the present? I might know in a problem how much I have in the future instead, right? You got to identify it. That's all. Or I might know how much I'm going to get every single period. If it's always the same amount every period, no period skipped, what do I have, everybody? An annuity. The ordinary comes at the end of the period. By the way, it's a due if it's the beginning. Right? You know, due now. Ordinary, I guess it's ordinarily payments are at the end if you borrow money. Yes, that's where ordinary comes from. I don't know. Okay? But that's a good way to remember it anyway. Huh? Due is now. Well, I'm not going to give you any annuities due. I'll just give you ordinary. Okay? You can assume the payments are always at the end. Yes, so it's an ordinary annuity payment. Okay, so what else do we know? It says it's going to accumulate interest at 6%. What's that? The 6% is a what, guys? It's the interest rate. Absolutely. Sure, we've got a couple of things. Okay, what else do we need to know? Maybe the number of periods, that'd be good, and or the future value some number of periods from now. That same n is the number of periods. Right, guys? Okay, so if I know either, by the way, if I know any 3 of these 4 things, I can calculate the 4th one. Be able to do that. Okay? Be able to do that. That's all we're doing. Okay? All right, anyway, so what will the fund balance be at the end of 2013? So you guys tell me what n is. So we're starting at the beginning of 2009, right? So would you count 2009, of course, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. How many years is it? How many periods is that? Was it 5? You got to be careful with this. What's 13 less 9? It's 4, but it's not the end of 2009. It's the beginning, right? So how many years is it? You have to count that year too. What is it? It's 5. Okay, so be real careful counting the number of periods, right? Everybody got it? That's all. Okay? So I got 5. And then what do they want to know? What will the fund balance be at the end? 5 periods from now, which of course is the future value. That's all we're calculating. So you can set these up any way you want mathematically. I don't care. It's not a financial statement. You can do it any way you want. You can plug it in your calculator, just have the answer come out and write it down. I don't care. But know how to use your calculator and know what you're doing. A calculator makes it faster. It doesn't make it more accurate. Right? It really doesn't. Okay? If you put the wrong numbers in, guess what happens? You ask for the wrong thing. Calculator doesn't know. It's just a computer. Right? It'll throw out whatever garbage. Right? That you input. It will give you the results of that. Okay, so what do we want to do? How would you set this one up, guys? I'd like to know a future value sometime in the future. It's actually 5 periods from now, wouldn't I? To do that, what would I do? I'd take the present value at time 0, and I'm going to compound the interest how? 1 plus the interest rate for the number of periods. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to add 6% interest every time, right? 6% the first year, then I'm going to take that amount, including the interest, and compound it at 6%, take that amount, including the interest, right? Keep going. And I'm going to keep compounding for 5 times, right? Okay, so what is this? The present value is how much? 20,000 times what? 1.06, because it's 6% interest, right? Raised to the 5th equals that future value. I guess it's 5 periods from now, right? Everybody got the idea? You can either look up that factor, you can plug it in your calculator, right? If you've got a calculator that does future values, you can put in present value 20, interest rate 6%, number of periods 5, and then ask it to calculate the future value. And boom, out will come an answer. Okay? If you don't have that fancy calculator, no big deal. What do? Grab the table, right? Which table are we on, everybody? I want to know what the future value is. I do know the present value. What table do you want to be on? Future value, right? I'm calculating the future, not the present. Okay? Right. Calculating the future. Okay? So I'm going to get to a future value table. Is this of a sum or an annuity? It's only one payment. What is it? A sum. So which table is that? A3, is it? A3? Is A3 the future value of a sum? The dollar? Okay, at $1. Okay? Make sure you're on the right table. Okay? So what do you do here? Go down to what? 6%? Okay, get the 6% column, right? And then go down how many periods? 5. What factor do you get? Okay, what's 1.06 raised to the 5th you put in your calculator? It's 1.3382. That's all they did. They calculated it for you on the table. Okay, got it? Nothing to it. That's what they did. If you know that, it's really helpful. Okay, by the way, what if you got a number that was bigger than 5 there? What do you think table you're on? Right, you're on an annuity table now, don't you? 5 payments and add interest, bigger than 5? Got the idea? So, of course, it's not going to be that big, right? It's only 6% interest, only 5 periods. So what's worth $1.34? If you invest $1 at 6% interest, compounded for 5 periods, it will turn into what? $1.34. So what is the future value of $1 invested for 6 periods, for 5 periods at 6%? What is it? $1.34. What's the present value of $1.34 discounted for 5 periods at 6%? It's $1. You just go in the opposite direction, right? Yeah, but I don't get $1, or I didn't invest $1. How much did I invest? 20,000. So each dollar is going to be worth $1.34. Does everybody see it? And I invested 20,000 of those dollars. So what are all of them going to be worth? 20,000 times 1.3382. What's it going to grow to? What's the future value, in other words?
26,800.
Okay. 26,800. None of you can miss this, right? Why would you? Why would you miss this? Don't. Okay? Get it right. Figure it out. Get it intuitively. It's the way we think about stuff, okay? Good deal, huh? So you can figure out what this thing is worth. Okay? Let's try another one. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't finish it. How much interest did they earn? This is really too hard to believe. How much interest did they earn if they have $26,800 at the end and they invested $20,000 at the beginning? How much interest do you think they earned?
6,000.
How about $6,800? No kidding. I get points for something like that. Okay? That's the interest. What's the interest rate they earned? Don't think about it too much. What's the interest rate they earned? 6%. right? We just calculated it. It's 6%. We added the interest. But if I asked you something like that, tell you the interest rate is 6%, and then ask you how much they earn in interest. It's a percent. Please get that right, huh? Okay? Yeah, that's $6,800 is interest at 6% on $20,000 over that period of time, right? 5 periods at 6%. Well, okay. All I want you to do, guys, is get so you're not just tracking numbers, right? You're looking at this and it's common sense to you. It's just common sense, okay? I would be indifferent if I think the cost of capital, we call it, right? The cost of investing here. If I think the cost, the appropriate interest rate is 6% and it's 5 years, I would be totally indifferent between $20,000 now and $26,800 5 years from now. And if you're not indifferent, then you think it's risky, more risky than this, and you think the interest rate should be higher, which means you want more later, right? To a point where you're indifferent. That's it. And if you can't do that, people can turn you into a money machine. Because you'll do anything to get the money now. Right? So you get, maybe $80,000 5 years from now. But you love certainty so much you'll take 20 now instead of 85 years from now. And the interest rate on that is just astronomical. Okay? And people will make a lot of money off of you. Or your business. You go for all that. Your business. Right? They'll just take all your wealth. And people offer these deals all the time. They do, don't they? 18% credit cards. Right? Don't take that deal. Don't buy your house that way, okay? Don't put your house in your credit card. Right? My wife and I now have credit cards where we could buy her new car with a credit card. We were joking about it yesterday. We just used the credit card, American Express. Right? That's a $50,000 credit limit. We never ever use it. Every year they tell us it's 5,000 more or 3,000 more or something. Why do they tell us that, by the way? Because we never use it, right? They're trying to get us to use it. We may be shocked about the 50 grand on it. Oh, yeah. We go to the Bahamas and retire, but probably not on 50. Okay, let's do another one. Company B needs to accumulate 50,000 in a fund. Okay, they want to accumulate 50,000. What do you, notice I haven't even read the whole problem. I already know what the 50,000 is. You do too, right? They want to have it sometime in the future. It's a future value. We don't know when yet, but we'll figure it out. It's a future value some number of periods from now, huh? So reading these is easy, right? Just let yourself think as you read it, okay? Never think about what you're doing, do it, okay? Don't think about what you're doing, do it. That fellow that made that wonderful shot for U of L the other day, they finally won a big game. Oh, that was fun. I have a cousin who went to University of Virginia, and I had to suffer the first loss, all of his Facebook posts. So I was nice. I was pretty nice. I didn't gloat. I told him I'd wait. Actually, I did say that. I said I'd wait to gloat until after the tournament, because we'll probably get stomped. Right? I'm on their team, so I say we. Can we do that with teams? By the way, Oregon's tied for second place in the Pac-12. It's a miracle. They were picked to be 7th in the league out of how many teams are in the Pac-12? 12, I guess. So anyway, all right. I can even handle that. So what else do we know about this one? 5 equal annual deposits. What's in? It's 5. Oh, annual deposits that are equal. What is it? That's an annuity payment. So now we have something a little different, right? You might have an annuity payment instead of a present value, or you might have an annuity payment instead of a future value. An annuity payment means what again, everybody? Exactly the same payment every period. Obviously, no period skipped then, or 0 for one, right? So every period, right? And you assume the interest rate stays the same. Got it? That's what a bond's going to be, by the way, in the next chapter. Okay? The interest is an annuity. It's always the same amount, right? Interest rate doesn't change. Okay, anyway, so the annuity payment, did they tell us what it is? No. I bet you that's what they want us to calculate. I don't know, but I bet it is. Assume 7%. What's that? That's the interest rate. Okay? So you don't have to have a present value to do this. If we had a present value, we could still do it. Present or future, either one's fine. We don't care. Okay? We can calculate it either way. Okay, so now we want to know how much needs to deposit at the end of each year. That makes it an ordinary annuity for those of you who do intermediate later, right? of you are going to do finance files, right? Finance 315. So you still need the ordinary or due when you get there, right? Due beginning of the period, ordinary payments, big deal. Okay, so this can be an ordinary annuity payment. We'll even call it that, okay? How much? Now, you can set this up a couple of ways. You can divide, you can multiply, it doesn't make any difference. I prefer to multiply for some reason. I don't know why. Okay? But you can set this up any way you want, okay? But what do I know here, you guys? I know the future value in periods from now, which is 5 periods, is going to be 50,000. That's what I wanted to grow to, okay? Just let this get easy for you. Okay, so my annuity payment, just happens to be how I like to set it up. This works good, though, okay? So you can do it this way. You can take the author's approach if you want. I don't care. The annuity payment that I'm looking for is going to go here, okay? And then what I want to do is I want to go look up a factor. This is going to be a factor for an ordinary annuity, right? Because it's an ordinary annuity payment. So I'm going to go find that factor. That's the only table I gave you, right, or the authors gave you, so that's one you're going to use. Okay, I want an ordinary annuity factor, but I want an interest rate of how much, guys? 7%. And I want a number of periods of how many? 5. Now, when you think about, so I'm going to go look that up, okay? When you think about this annuity, what do we mean? There are going to be 5 payments, right? So this factor is going to be 5, right? The $5 that are going to be paid. Everybody got it? $5 each time, okay? $5 plus what? It's the future value over there, plus the interest, okay? So these deposits, you think you're going to deposit a whole 50,000, or are you going to deposit less than that? Less, of course, because you're going to add interest, right, guys? Yeah. Okay. So I want the ordinary annuity payment, I bet, to be something less than $10,000, huh? Because I don't need to deposit the whole 50. Okay. So my factor that I'm going to divide in there, I'm going to go look it up. Look at the what? Now, what I know is the ordinary annuity payment, and I want to know a future value. So which table do you need to be on? Future value of an annuity. Got it? Don't get in the present value of an annuity. It's going the wrong way. Okay? All right? So let's go. What do you get? 5 periods, 7%. What's that factor? Why don't you look at it?
5.7507.
5.7507. Okay? What grows to $5.75? $1 deposit at the end of the first period, plus $1 deposit at the end of the second period, plus $1 deposit at the end of the third, $1 deposit at the end of the fourth, $1 deposit at the end of the fifth. That $5, when you add interest to it, is going to grow to $5.75. The first one earns interest for 4 periods, right? Because you put it in at the end of the first period, and it stays for 4 periods. Second one earns interest for 3 periods. Third one, 2 periods. Fourth one, 1 period. The last payment, you deposit it, and then you have no time to add any interest. Got it? It's just $1 added. Okay, I want you to look at something. Look at the present value of a sum table. Flip over to the, sort of fold your page so you can, I'm sorry, future value of sum. Fold your page so you can see the future value of sum, and you can also see the future value of an annuity. Okay? Can you sort of do that? Look at both of them at once, or are they on the same page? On the same page? Good. Okay. So we're looking at 7%, 5 periods. So go down there. Add up the first 5 factors from the future value of a sum table. Add up the first 5. The first one's ridiculous. It's a 1. That's because that last payment earns no interest, right? Add up the 5. And what happens when you add those 5 up? There's a little bit of rounding, but what happens? You get 5.75. It's a miracle. No, it's not. That's what they did in the table. It's actually a little formula that does it for you, right? It's the sum of those. Got it? Same thing with the present value one. It's going to be the same thing, okay? On the annuity tables, they just added them up for you. You like it? Isn't that nice of them? So if you have a fancy calculator, you tell it's an annuity payment, right? But, oh, by the way, in your fancy calculator, you have to put in a 0 if the payment is at the beginning of the period, times 0. Or you put in 1 if the payment is at the end. Almost all calculators do it. Got it? You have to tell it if it's an annuity due or an ordinary annuity. Got to put it in there right. Okay? So you're going to use your calculator. Get your book out and your calculator. You know what it says. Go online. Look at your calculator, right? Find the instructions on how to calculate present values and future values. sure you really know, okay? Don't just play around, okay? Are you guys like me, and every time you do something on a calculator or computer, you try to figure it out yourself? And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, you try again, and it doesn't work. You try again, and it doesn't work. And finally, you give up. Go figure it out. Right? Look up something. Right? Don't do that with this. Okay? Do yourself a favor. Look at it in the first place. Make sure you got it right. Because when you're going to be messing it up, it's like quiz stuff. Okay, good. So how do I find out what the payment is? Some number times 5.75 is 50,000. Gee, I wonder what the number is. What do? Just divide it in. That's it, no kidding. So divide 5.7507 into 50. And the author might have set it up so they took the 50 and divided it by the 5.75 anyway, in a formula. Equals the ordinary annuity payment. Fine. Of course, that's right. What's that number?
$8,694.95.
Something like that. 694 something. Okay, everybody got it? You rounded the nearest dollar, I guess. Okay. I'd like to know how much interest you're earning on this one, too. I didn't ask for it there, but can you guys tell me? How much interest did you earn? Let's do this. How much did you invest? How much did you invest? 8,695. How many times?
5.
Times 5. Sure, just take it times 5. Always keep track of reality here, huh, guys? How much is that?
43,472.
73, something like that. Okay. So 43,473 total deposited grew to how much, everybody? 50,000. How much interest did they earn? This is powerful, isn't it, guys? It really is. It's really powerful. And I know there's some folks sitting out there saying, oh, this is too hard. I couldn't do it last time I saw it. I still can't do it. I'm just not going to do it. Please don't do that. I really want to make you guys valuable. That's what I'm doing here, okay? It's going to make a huge difference for you. It really is. You really want to know it, okay? Get this down. Get so you can do it, okay? I have total confidence in you folks. I'm not kidding about that either. You guys are stuck in there. You can do this stuff. On C, Company C has a new machine that has an estimated life of 5 years. What do you think the 5 years is, everybody? How about the number of periods? No kidding, right? And a 5,000 residual value. What's that? Residual value, salvage value at the end of the 5 years. What do you think it is? It's a future value 5 years from now, right? Some number of periods from now, but it's 5. Okay? That's going to be 5,000. Everybody good? It's a future value. Assuming an 8% interest rate. That's, of course, the interest rate. What don't we know, by the way? Either present value or annuity payment, I guess, huh? Okay? And it says, what is the present value of it? It even asked you for it. Okay? So figuring out what they want is the first step, huh? All right. What's the present value? So what are you going to do this time? You can just set it up like this if you want. Future value at time 5 is $5,000. I would like to know what? Present value at time 0. Okay? So I'm calculating that thing. So just get myself set up. Okay? It's times what? 1 over 1 plus the interest rate, because I'm dividing the interest in this time, right, guys? That's all it is. Raised to the number of periods, which is 5. So that's 1 over 1 point what? 08. Raised to the what, everybody? 5 periods. Just like that. Okay? What could you do? You could go look up a present value of a sum factor here, couldn't you? Where the interest rate is 8%, and the number of periods is 5. Right, everybody? So hit that table, right? Present value of the sum. 5 periods, 8%. What factor do you pick up? Or, of course, you can plug it in your calculator. Is this going to be more or less than 1, seeing as you're taking interest out? How about less? Yeah, that's that. Anybody? Somebody give me a number. 0.6806. Okay. 1% person who ever gives me a number is the other professor. That's bizarre. Just think about that. And he and I both totally understand that that's always the way it is. If he wasn't here, I guess I'd have to go look him up myself. None of you do it for me. So, now you're paying, what the hell, right? Learn me something. Yeah, okay, whatever. I'll learn it for you. I learn it over and over. It's all right. You get to do the quiz, okay? All right, so 5,000 times, what? By the way, what's worth 68 cents? $1 received 5 periods from now, it has to be years, 5 periods from now, discounted at 8%, right? We're just sucking the interest out. If I invest 68 cents for 5 periods, compound interest at 8%, what does it grow to, everybody? $1. So each one of those $1 is only worth 68 cents now. Got the idea? That's why it's its present value. You're just sucking the interest out of there. How much interest would there be on every one of them? 68 cents would earn me how much interest over 5 periods at 8%? 32 cents becomes $1, right? I keep saying this over and over and over because I want you really to think about it that way, and I want you not to miss these on my quizzes and tests and final, okay? How many points do you suppose there's going to be on present values in general? Seeing as bonds, you have to do present values, and this chapter, you have to do present values. Oh my gosh. Of course, over the course of your life, lots of dollars based on it. Geez, there's all kinds of points here, you guys. This quiz, the next quiz, a whole bunch on the test, right? A whole bunch on the final. Throughout your college career, you'll be using this stuff. Throughout your professional careers. So what's 5,000 times 68 cents? Seeing it's not $1, it's 5,000 times. What's 5,000 times 0.6806? What do you get? 2, 4? 3, 4. 0, 3. 3,403. Decimal. 3,403. Sound good? Okay. Excellent. Okay. Everybody agree that if I invest $3,403 at 8% interest for 5 periods, become 5,000. So therefore, that's what it's worth right now. Yeah. Okay. And the interest I'd earn would be the difference between the 5 and the 3,403, right? Okay, good. Okay. Everybody's got the idea. Let's try D. Company D owes a $50,000 debt that is now due. What would you call that thing? Now. It's the present. Present value is 50,000. Did everybody agree with that? Noisy next door, making me nervous. We're out of time, but we're not, are we? Everybody wants us to be out of time, but we're not. No, yeah. Arrangements have been made to pay it off in 5 equal installments. What would you call that thing? I think it's an annuity. How many periods? And that's going to be an annuity payment. Okay, and it's now January 1st, 2011, and they're going to make the payment at December 31st. In parentheses, it says ordinary annuity situation, but we know that, don't we? Right? So it's an ordinary annuity payment. They don't have to tell us that. We know it was into the period. Do we know how much the payment is? Oh, we're going to calculate it, huh? He wants to know what the annual payment is. That's what we're calculating again. Only this is going to be with the present value known instead of a future value. Big deal. Same calculation basically. Just different table. Okay? Assuming 8% interest, that's the interest rate, isn't it? So remember on the first one I says, the earlier one, I said, you know, you can either know the present value or the future value, still calculate the annuity payment. It'll be fine. Okay? Not a big deal. So assuming 8% interest, how much will the annual payment be? So what you could do is you could say, all right, some ordinary annuity payment, whatever it is, times a factor is going to give me present value at times 0, which I do know is 50,000, okay? And what I got is this factor. What kind of factor is it going to be? I want to know a present value. I'm working with an annuity. What is it? Present value of an ordinary annuity factor. We'll get on the right table. What's the interest rate? 8%. What's the number of periods? So this time we're going to have 5 factors added up, but they're all going to be present value factors. The first 5 present value factors at 8% get added up, huh? Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because these payments are going to be when? At the end of each period, yeah. You 1 period, 2 periods, 3 periods, 4 periods, right? Okay, but I want to know what it's worth now. So the first payment's going to have one interest payment taken out, right? Or one interest taken out, interest expense, okay? Second one's going to have 2, third one 3, up to 5, okay? So if you look at the present value of the sum table, right? Add up the first 5, you'll get this factor, won't you? That's all they did for the factor. What is it anyway? 8%, 5 periods. What factor did you get? By the way, is this factor going to be more or less than 5? You're doing. We're not adding interest, we're taking interest out, aren't we? Less? Yeah. Okay, what is it?
3.9927.
What's worth $3.99? $5 is. Right? $5 received $1 per period at the end of each period for 5 periods, right? Interest taken out of it at 8%. On the first payment, you take out 1 period's interest. On the second payment, 2 periods. Got the idea? The last payment, 5 periods. Right? You add all those up, and you will get $3.99, huh? How much interest are you earning? You're getting $5 back. You invest $3.99. Guess $1.01, huh? That's right, isn't it? $1.01. Okay, sure. So just divide the 3.9927 into 50,000, and what's the payment need to be?
4,573.
How much?
12523.
Excellent. Okay. All right, how much interest is going to be earned on this deal? It's going to be 8%. Yeah. Okay. How many dollars? What would you do, guys? Okay, 12,523 times what? 5 payments. What's that? 12,523 times 5? Doesn't sound quite right. 60 something. Is it that much? 7-2. I'm putting some out doing this up on. 7-2.
6-2.
Okay, 6-2. All right. I was gonna say it has to be more than that. Yeah. Okay. 62615 is the total. How much interest, everybody? 12,615. See it? That's it. Okay. That's the deal. Good. We know what's going on. Then it says, give the entry for D above for the first payment on December 31st, 2009. Now that one's hard. What would the journal entry be for the first payment? Okay, you guys, think about the easy part of this entry. What are you paying on this? You're giving them cash, right? What do you bet it's going to be a what? I'm making payments, right? But they owe a debt. By the way, what's the debt on their books at? What do you call it? What's that 50,000 on their books? It's a debt, you guys. They owe somebody. What is it? A liability named? Well, 50,000, and you're going to pay interest over time. Well, notes payable. I bet it's notes payable again. So, yeah, very good. Okay, that's a note payable. Let's connect this stuff, you guys. Okay, so do you think you might be paying off some of the note payable when you make payments? I think so. Do you think you might be giving them cash when you make payments? How do you pay off a note payable, debit or credit? Debit, of course. So you're going to debit notes payable, huh? This is only hard calculating. The idea is not hard. Credit what? Cash. And guess what? I'm going to give them more cash than I reduce the note payable because I'm paying them what? Interest. And it is going to be interest what over time? Expense. Absolutely. Okay, how big is the payment? Oh, come on. We just calculated it. Yeah, 12,523. Excellent. Okay? You guys can do this. All right. How much do we have borrowed? 50,000. What's the interest rate? I bet you guys can calculate what 50,000 times 8% is. Right? How much is that? $4,000. What is that? 8% on the 50,000 you have borrowed for a year. The interest expense. Can anybody tell me how much of the note we just amortized? We're going to use this in the next chapter. On a car loan, you do this. On a house loan, you do this. On any loan, you do this. And 8, 5, 2, 3. What did you just do to the debt? You reduced it by $8,523. Everybody agree? You just did, didn't you? Okay, that would have been the answer for that question, right? Let's try the next year. I won't do this to you on a quiz yet. An intermediate, sure would. Maybe not here. Okay? What do you want to do for the next payment? What's the balance now in notes payable, everybody? Notes payable was how much? $50,000. How much did we reduce it with the first payment? It's a little amortization schedule, right? We're going to do amortization in the next chapter to get this really down. 8, 5, 2, 3. Look what happened. The debt is now how much? 41,477. Is that what that is? Okay. Guess how much we're going to pay interest on this time? 41,477. What interest rate is it going to be, of course? 8%. Ah, you guys are getting it. Okay. How much interest is there going to be? So we'll write it, okay? 3,319, okay? So what's your journal entry going to be? How much cash are you going to give them? How much cash do you give them every single time? Seeing it's the same payment every time. Well, 523. Wheels are spinning out there. How much notes payable? Well, we'll have to calculate that after we know what? What the interest expense is. Guess what the interest expense is? We just calculated it. What is that? Yeah, look at that. And what's the debit notes payable? Now that'll reduce us down from 41,477 by not another 9,000. We'll be down around 32,000. We do it again, huh? Every time there's less interest if we hold it less, right? What if we do that 5 times? What's going to be the remaining balance in notes payable if we do that payment 5 times? You need to pay off the loan. 0. Okay. Next time you guys go buy a car, you can calculate what your payment will be if you want. You can calculate what the total amount of interest is you're going to pay if you want. We'll do it in 30 seconds with your calculator. I'm not kidding. You figure out anything. When you buy a house, you can do it that fast. So what? There's 360 payments and it's monthly. 30 years, right? 12 months even. Okay? Yeah, it's 360 payments. You won't believe how much interest it is. Unbelievable, right? Far, far more than you paid for the house. Okay, you can write it off in your tax return and all that. Which helps go. Yeah. Okay, I just took 12,523 less 4,000. Oh, that was our annuity payment we just calculated. That's the payment. So that's how much cash we're giving. Right? That's what we calculated. Got it? Probably not the only one. Right? You gotta make all these connections. Huh? Okay. Good. All right, guys. By the way, how many dollars of interest were we paying? Could you do it again? Oh, we did that. 12,615. All right. Let's try another one then. Second page of the quiz was easier than the first one. Maybe just because it wasn't all in one problem. But number 9, if the market rate of interest is 8%, what did I just give you? Gave you the interest rate. 8%. A rational person would just as soon receive 1,204 years from now. What's that? Number of periods is what? Okay, and what is the $1,200? It's a future value. Oh, man. Future value, that number of periods from now, 4. Okay? And a rational person would just as soon receive what amount today? What's the amount today called? Present value. Okay? We can do this, can't we? We do a bunch of these. Work them. Do every single present value, future value problem into this chapter. Work them all. Okay? And you'll just walk in and do the quiz. All right? Nothing to it. Okay, so here we go. What do we got? Future value, 4 periods from now, is 1,200. I'd like to know what it's worth now. which is the present value at time 0, right? That's what I'm after. This is 1 over 1 plus the interest rate raised the number of periods, or you could say you're looking at the present value of the sum factor. Number of periods is 4, interest rate is 8%. These are the same problem over and over, aren't they? Okay? So what's the factor? Or just calculate it. 1 over 1.08 raised to the 4th. 4 periods, 8%. What's the present value factor, everybody? Anybody going to read me one? Your calculator having your book there. Come on, somebody give me one. He's trying not to give it to me. Each one of you guys actually would. Stick your neck out. 8%, 4 periods, present value. What do you got?
0.735.
If I invest 73 and a half cents at 8% interest for 4 periods, becomes $1, right? I'll earn 26 and a half cents. Okay, 1,200 times each one of those, it must be what it's worth now. How much is that? What was it? 882. You guys can get these right, aren't you? Kind of stuff. Okay. George's grandmother promises to give him $1,200 at the end of each of the next 10 years. What's that? That $1,200 at the end of each period is a what, everybody? It's an ordinary annuity payment, isn't it? It's an annuity payment. End of the years makes it ordinary. Okay, good. All right, what's the 10 years? The number of periods. So obviously that's going to be what? $12,000 over the time. Everybody agree? We're not going to use $12,000 for the calculation, but that's what we're valuing here, right? Okay, how much is money worth today? What do you want to know? Present value times 0 for an annuity this time. Okay? Yeah, don't want to know. What's the interest rate? It says it's 12%. How do you calculate this one? Ordinary annuity payment. How fast can you get at this stuff? Don't get so fast you make ridiculous errors. I won't give you that much to do anyway. It's going to feel like a quiz. It's just ridiculously long if you don't know how to do it. But if you do know how to do it, you'll get done in about half the time. Got it? Okay? You can, right? And you know what you're doing. And then double check. Make sure you read it right. So take the whole time. It should be done fast. Okay, that times what? I want to know a present value at time 0, don't I? I bet you it's a present value of an ordinary annuity factor. Got it? Interest rate, 12%. Number of periods, 10. So we look it up. That's 10 factors added together, isn't it? Okay? Is that going to be a factor more or less than 10, seeing as we're taking interest out of it? What kind of factor do you get? 5.6. 502. What? 565? We're talking about $10 here. How much interest is there going to be on each $10 cash flow stream? $4.35. Why so much? It's 12% and it's 10 periods, guys. Right? First one's discounted at 12% for 1 period. That's still a fair amount of interest, right? The 10th one's discounted at 12% for 10 periods. Look at the present value of the sum table for 10 periods at 12%. What's $1? Discounted for 12 periods, or for 10 periods rather, at 12% worth. What is that factor? On the present value of the sum table, 12%, 10 periods. What's $1 received 10 years from now, discounted at 12% worth right now?
0.3220.
What's that?
0.3220.
3 cents. 32 cents, okay. Okay, 0 point. Okay, thank you. Okay, 32 cents. You mean if I invest 32 cents for 10 years at 12%, it turns into $1? Yes. It said on the financial news this morning that on NPR that the stock market tripled in the last 6 years. It didn't take 7, it's the last 6. That first year didn't do much. Okay. Yeah. What interest rate is that? The stock market tripled. If it went from, oh, by the way, what's that number? 1,200 times 5.6502. Let's get the answer. because we're going to get not $1, we're going to get 1,200. So not $1 10 times, we're going to get 1,200. So what's this whole 12,000? 1,200 times 5.6502. What do you get, everybody? 708. 708. All right, gang. How about if the market did that? It went from 6,000. Okay, that was the present value at that time. The future value now, 6 years later, is 18,000 approximately. Let's calculate what the interest rate was. Okay, one more thing. Okay, what's this factor? What that is, this is going to be a future value of a sum factor, right? It's 1 plus some interest rate raised to some number of periods. Well, I know the number of periods, don't I? It's what? 6? I don't know the interest rate. Now, if you have a nice calculator, what you could do is you could put the 6,000 present value in. You could put the 18,000 future value in. You could tell it it's 6 periods from now, right? And you could ask it to calculate the interest rate. If you don't have that, you could use a table. Okay? Let's use a table. Find the future value of a sum factor. Okay? Well, what is the factor? It must be what? If this number is 6,000, that's 18,000. What's the factor, everybody? 3.0. Oh, and what I want to do is find that factor. Go to the future value of a sum table, go to 6 periods, and go across until you find 3.0 or get close to it. Can you get close? 2.98, that's awful close, isn't it? Okay, to 3. What's the interest rate? 20%. 20%. The stock market for the last 6 years has earned 20%. How many of you want to have your money in a savings account, earning 0.5% or 1/4% or whatever the heck they give you? I earned 20% on my money the last 6 years. So don't worry, a couple years before that I lost half my money. So yeah, all right. So the market's going like this. But are you investing for 1 or 2 years? Or you guys going to invest for, I don't know, 50? Put your money in the stock market. Like that. See you, gang. I guess that's enough, huh? You now know everything.